Then I just did that man thing where you're just like cursing under your breath. You're like, oh, I knew it. Why did I do this?
It's like Homer Simpson.
Yeah. So I did that because I was frustrated.
I watched
and I was
it.
so upset at myself.
I know. It was one of those things where I actually gave you like a good 10 minutes before I came up to say it was okay.
Back in the day when everyone was in the offices and you would crumple up paper and like that was like an office staple is like, you crumple paper.
That and the paper airplane. How far can your paper
how far
airplane
can you go? Like just office games, overall.
Yeah. Sorry.
You getting situated?
Yeah.
You getting situated?
Situated. I hit a button.
You hit a button.
Always.
Hopefully you didn't hit it off.
That's what I was just looking at, but I didn't. It was the volume down button.
Okay,
just
that's
one,
good.
which to be honest, I'm so loud. That's probably a good thing.
Wouldn't that be funny if we filmed a whole episode and like one of us was talking and the other one, it was just like really mumbled because it came across the other person's mic, but it wasn't.
I mean, we had an episode where we didn't get any audio before.
That's true. We actually did. And we were scrambling.
Well,
we weren't scrambling, but it was like one of those things where like, I think Maria was like, it was like one of those things I think she might have been a little fearful to be like, hey, that the last hour that we did. But
she's like, remember when we did an entire podcast and it didn't work? Yeah, me too.
No, she told us right away. She's a class act. So. It was
my
one of those
gosh.
things, and we're like, oh, okay, well that's horrible.
Actually,
but it's
it
good to go
wasn't.
through those
You know what?
things.
I truly believe everything happens for a reason, good or bad. And the podcast that didn't come through was one of the worst, funkiest days ever. And we were like, not
because
having
our
good
energy, I
conversation.
think our energy level was a little bit down that day, or we had some weird
it was
transitions,
weird.
and we thought, well, that was. And the thing is, they're not live, but we don't do anything. We just package it up and
from the studio.
Live from the studio.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. That's why I keep grabbing my upper lip.
Okay.
So I'm stopping myself. So if you
Please
don't know,
don't sneeze into the microphone.
the old army trick, right? So obviously, if you're, the enemy's sneaking up on you and you do not want to sneeze, then you pinch right below your nose, and this nerve ending here will literally subdue the sneeze.
It's true. He taught me this, and I actually use it all the time now.
Right, because we just don't want to be killed
For sneezing.
for sneezing.
Yeah, good. Well, this weekend is about to be the 4th of July.
4th
which
of
is
July.
super exciting. It's interesting this year being on a
Thursday?
on a Thursday, because I know a lot of people, especially as employers, you sit there and it's like everyone, typically the 4th of July, you get off the 4th of July. That is the federal holiday. Unlike a Thanksgiving where it falls on a Thursday every single year and you get off that Thursday. And if companies are very nice, they give you the 4-day weekend and you get the Friday off as well.
Or they'll give you like a half day on Friday.
Yeah, because it's consistent. Every single year it's the Thursday, not necessarily a day of the month. Whereas the 4th of July obviously changes the day of the week every year. This year it falls on a Thursday, which is awesome because you can take the Friday off. But I know a lot of people whose businesses are open on Friday and they're going to be working. But they're like, it's still nice to get a day off. But you
can't party. It's like
you can't party.
If you go and have a blast, you're going to come dragging on Friday.
Oh yeah, everyone's going to be dragging. Or you take the day off and you get a nice 4-day weekend.
It's like impossible to call in sick on July 5th.
Well, I know that's what we were talking about. Not only
everyone knows you ain't sick.
Yeah, well, there was,
or you could be really
one
sick.
Of your family members, and actually one of Maria's family members. Both of them had to work on the Friday, and like separately, we didn't know, but we talked about it this week. That like we were having the conversations about like, don't call in sick. Just have the transparent conversation with your manager. That's like, hey, I'm not gonna be there. So like,
me and my entire family are calling in sick on Friday, and actually, we've been pressuring my sister to call in sick.
I said
on
a
Friday.
family member. I wasn't going to throw her under.
Oh no.
She's not though. She actually did not get the green light. She's going into work,
and we're like pressuring her
which is
so
crazy
hard.
because her entire family, the kids, their friends, her husband, everyone's coming to the lake with us, and she's going to miss like 2 days.
she's going to miss 2 days, and she's going to be working hard. And but I think she gets the 4th off.
She does, but she's not coming.
So
well, because exactly like you said, you can't really do anything because you work the day before, and then you got to work the morning after.
I feel like that's what she's like. She's like, you know what, I'm going to do the right thing, and
It is the right
and
thing.
we're like just this.
She's also got
pound
like
of
100
demons.
animals that need to
It's
be
like
taken
we're
care of.
all like on this shoulder with like little Satan pitchforks, and we're like, come take the day off, come
my
party with
gosh.
us. And then there's like one lone little angel over here that's like, do the right thing.
And it's her.
Do the right thing.
I know. And she always does. She's
I don't
really
know.
good.
The weekend's not over yet.
She's
Challenge
not going to.
accepted. I'm going for it.
I know, but I know last week, if you guys were listening, we've been having lots of mechanical issues. And
Yes.
so anyway, first it was the van, then it was the jet skis. And we were super excited because last week we were like, oh my gosh, we thought the jet ski was broken, but for $15 or $13.
We got a $15 relay put
We
in
thought
there.
it was fixed. So that wasn't the case, was it?
No, what's so funny is
And
like
why?
you
What
know
happened?
these things when someone calls you, and I got the phone call and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's a quick little relay switch," and then he said something like, "And do you want to change the battery out in the other one?" And I
He's
sat
got two
there and I
jet
paused,
skis,
and
so-
I was like, "Wait a second." I was like, "No, I don't know why you would look at the other jet ski. Like there was something obviously wrong." Now here's what happened is that there was two skis on the trailer, and I had taken a green bungee cord and I said, "This is the ski that's broke." Now, at some point, and alcohol could have been involved. Is I loaded the jet skis up and I put them backwards. Here's the other problem: the jet skis used to be red and yellow, and we changed out the colors, the plastics this summer, and so they're both gray to match the boat. And so this has caused mass confusion, mass problems.
We need to
mass
put a
headaches.
wrap on them or get the names of them on them. But
They each
so
have
right
their own
now they're
names.
identical.
But they're identical right now. So we need to get that fixed. But long story short, I went ahead and flipped them. So they call me up. They're like, yeah, it was a small part. It started right up. And I'm like, well, that's awesome, right? Because I wanted it to be that way. I wanted it to be a $15 fix. Tip the guy $50 to, for taking a quick look at it, changing the part out.
Getting
So
it done
basically
before the
$65. Well, we spent $65 to fix a working jet ski.
It's the wrong jet ski.
It's the wrong jet ski.
They looked at the wrong
I'm
one.
like, did you guys not try to start it beforehand? Or they just be like, yeah, it's broken. He's like, oh, let me change out a relay. And it started. He's like, that's magic. It worked.
Anyway, you can imagine how frustrated Chris was. In fact, I think it was close to the wasp sting when you jumped headfirst in the lake because there was a bit of I think you actually took your foot and kicked the trailer. There was a little bit of a
what happened
temper
was, it's
tantrum
like-
when you realized.
I backed him up. And then there was that part of me that was like, I should double check before I put these in the water. And so I did that.
So that was good. You didn't get them all the way off the trailer.
I didn't get them off the
Yeah.
trailer. And then I just did that man thing where you're just cursing under your breath. You're like, oh, I knew it. Why did I do this?
It's like
And
Homer
so-
Simpson.
Yeah. So I did that because I was frustrated.
I
and I
watched
was
it.
so upset at myself.
I know. It was one of those things where I actually gave you a good 10 minutes before I came up to say it was okay.
And the other one didn't start. And I knew immediately the problem.
Anyway, so we're out of one jet ski.
And it was upsetting because we wanted to have them for all the nieces and nephews
Yes,
for
who
the
are coming this
weekend so they could
weekend.
have fun. And so it was just
They're
that's
just gonna
why
have to
it
ride
ran up.
together.
I could have been fine, but it was like you want to provide and
You're Uncle
host. I'm Uncle Buck.
I know. You're cool, Uncle Buck.
So I'm always wanting to have
Provide
these fun
toys.
things.
I know.
And so that's kind of a bummer. But we learned a lot of things. We ended up replacing the lithium batteries.
We learned to double check our work. We learned
to double check our work. It's like measure twice, cut once. Yeah. Yeah, that I did a great job there.
that one cut worked.
know.
Oh man.
But so now the one's back in the shop, and it's going to be weeks before we end up getting it back. And
But you kind of got to the bottom of the fact that the battery's no longer the issue. Now we understand there's something else going on.
right now we're
It'll
back to
get fixed.
$1,000 fix from $15 fix.
But speaking of fixes, the van finally came home this week.
Yes,
last night actually.
we actually picked up the Stay Cool van last night, and I'm hoping we can actually share this video. So our friends who own the mechanic shop, he has sent me a video. He goes, dude, you'll never believe this. She's a little wet still. And they had it raised up
Yeah, this was the van, for those of you who didn't hear the entire story, got caught in a flood. It was in like 4 feet of water. The engine stopped, so it's been getting fixed.
So we got a brand new engine in it.
The engine had water in it. That was taken out. We knew like that issue had been
floorboards
solved.
had a little bit of water.
Yes.
We drained it really quick. So
from the inside of the car.
From the inside of the van.
Yeah.
I have buckets. We shared all this a couple weeks ago. But when the van was lifted up, there's
in the shop,
there's a couple body plugs, like these little rubber gaskets. And he's like, he literally goes, well, we should pop the plugs. Maybe there's a little bit of water trapped in there. So we have a video. There's 5 gallons of water pouring out of this vehicle.
It's and he said
all over the ground.
This video keeps going, but he was like, water was pouring out like 30 seconds before I think
he said it was a minute before he went and got his camera.
Whatever it was, there was so much water.
There was so much water, and it's just pouring out of it, and it's just
like,
and it's laughable because you're sitting there. It's like.
Anyway, she drives beautifully.
She drives beautifully now.
We went. She got new tires.
She's got new tires, new brakes, new little front end joints.
She's as safe can be.
Yeah,
it all worked out.
The little tire pressure gauge is on. But I checked the tires this morning; they're all at 40 psi.
Sorry.
I actually, this is a great story, and my father-in-law's listening, so he'll appreciate this. So he's got this amazing. Another amazing dad tool, right? Pumps your tires up and you hook it up to it and plug it in and it pumps up. It's awesome. So I'd asked Beck, I said, I really would like to have one of these. I think it'd be really good. I have an air compressor, but I do not have a little portable like pump. And I got gifted for Christmas a DeWalt, like Mac Daddy, king of all portable air compressors. And this thing, you hook it up, you dial it to the exact PSI you want, you hit, literally it's like play. There's like a play button on it. It's like, we're getting ready to party, play. And it turns on and it's like, and it pumps it to the exact pressure. And it's just the coolest little toy.
I'm
and
so
it's
glad
rechargeable.
You like it. I happened to get him that gift. But it's so funny, the tools and toys you can get that you're so excited about.
I know. And I look forward to every time I get to use that. Like, I keep it in the truck and I'm like, please, someone have a flat tire. I'm going to pump your tire. And we are both going to just marvel at the digital electronicness of this.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. I know. You said the other day, you're like, your dad's was cool, but like this one's really.
I did say that. So, and he's listening. I'm like, I got one.
He needs to get a new one.
You're going to have to upgrade because this thing is freaking amazing.
Day. I know. But speaking of water, it's been raining a lot here, and I had quite the experience the other day. Well, actually, it's been thundering and lightning and craziness, and we tried to get home from the lake early so we weren't driving in the storms. In fact, my parents said their house literally almost got hit by lightning. There was a crash right outside their window that like shattered some stuff that was on their tree.
You told me, or I heard you talking to her about that.
But anyway, so that same day, so I finally caved after like 3 weeks of my hideous gel nail polish that I attempted to remove, that didn't remove, that I then just gave up on.
That's what happens when you're on a budget. You got to do your own nails.
It was like pink Dalmatian. Well, I tried, but it didn't work out. And so then instead of doing my own nails, I just didn't do my nails at all. And neither did a place. And so finally I was like, you know what?
You started looking like evil. Like,
yeah, I was like, I'm going to do. So finally I was like, no, you know what? I need to like go and get them done. But this time I was going to get regular nail polish. So if I didn't need to remove it myself at home and start doing my own nails, this could be like, the catalyst for me.
It's a transitional period.
This was a transitional period. So anyway, we had looked at the radar. It was a really crazy storm coming. And I thought, well, I better go now before the storm comes. So I called and they were like, how long will it take? They were like, we can take you. How long until you're here? I was like, 5 minutes. So I'm like in a rush.
5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm in a rush. And so I jump in the golf cart and I back up and I jet forward. And I had this like glass coffee cup that I had put on the back of the golf cart and I didn't realize. And it like shattered all over the street. And I was like, oh.
And is it raining yet?
No. So it was like sprinkling, but I was like, I can make it to the nail place, of course. So the glass shatters. I'm like, oh my gosh. And of course it's right outside our house on the road. So I can't leave the glass there. And I didn't want to drive back over the glass to get back into the garage. So I had to go all the way around in a circle around the street to pull into the garage. So anyway, by the time I'm turning around to go into the house, I mean, it's like torrential. The sky's opened. It's sideways raining. I'm in like this white blouse dress. I'm soaked from head to toe. I could have won a wet t-shirt contest. Like it was ridiculous. And then
Wish I was there.
No, I actually looked terrifying. I was like the bride of Chucky. My
Well, you
hair
called
was
me
down.
and you're like, hey, do we own a
Well,
dustpan?
so the glass is broken. It's like I've never
Which, by
heard
the way, I'm
thunder
actually
cracks
scared to
so
admit
loud.
that we do not own a dustpan.
Well, so I did. I called him
you
and I
don't
was
own a
like, do we have a dustpan? It's torrential raining. The street's practically flooding as all this shattered glass starts to fly away. And I was like, oh my goodness, I got to go out there and clean this. And I'm kind of like, well, I'm already wet, so I might as well. But keep in mind, my nail guy's waiting for me.
Yeah.
So
And you said 5 minutes.
So I called and asked you for the dustpan, and you were like, I think we have one on my toolbox. And you're like, it's blue. And I shit you not, you guys, this thing was like made for mice
I
who
got
are
this at, like, the
scooping up
dollar
crumbs.
store.
No, it's like, I'm not exaggerating when I say this, it's 2 inches wide. Like
It is. It's like a little mini dustpan. I use it just to get up a little because I would shop back it, right? And so the
for
dustpan
sand,
is for
you're like, oh, there's 3 pieces of sand. So there I am. When you guys, if you don't
I
know,
don't even know why I have that.
If you don't know Florida rain, you can't even
Because
picture
one
this.
day.
I am, yeah, exactly. I'm fully,
Which was that day.
I know. I'm dressed. It's torrential storms.
Yeah.
I'm in a white blouse dress.
Yeah.
And there's glass all over the street. And there I am in the middle of the flood with my 2-inch
Little
dustpan
dustpan.
and broom trying to get out this glass. And in the meantime, I called my nail guy and I'm like, I am so sorry. I'll be there, but it'll be a minute. So he's like, you're fine. So anyway, finally, what I thought the glass was all cleaned up. I get back and I was like, I do have another car. I can make it there in another car. Because I didn't tell him I broke glass. I just told him I was in the golf cart.
Okay.
And anyway, I had to shut the garage. I mean, there was a full strip down in the
run down.
garage. I had to wring out my clothes. I had to go change, brush out my hair. Oh, and then I was brushing my hair. My hairbrush broke. That's how knotted my hair was.
And you know what's really
It's like
funny?
one of those things I was like, it's a day.
We're not really like horoscope type people.
No, we're not.
And I'm like a no horoscope.
He's a
type
no
person.
horoscope, and like lately I've
And
been
you're
looking.
like that curiosity, like,
Yes.
I wonder if it's going to be something good today. And she's literally
I use
laughed
this-
that morning, and you were like, my horoscope says that I should just scream a lot. And it's
No,
so
it
funny
was-
because I'm like, don't scream at me.
So normally I use this app. It's called CoStar. Don't know if it's a good one or a bad one, but anyway, I was looking at it, and normally it will say like your daily, horoscopes or whatever. And it's like, today you should read a book. Today you should have a bonfire. Today is like a no nonsense day, or another day might be like, pay attention, answer emails. This particular day, it was like scream into a pillow, slam doors, like all
It was
these
like
things.
this-
And in the morning, I felt so good. I was like, this is really crazy. I was like, this is like terrible. But because I had read it, I mean, honestly, I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, this is comical. I texted you. I was like, the last hour of my life has been an absolute comedy. Like,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you stripped down naked in the garage with
I
wet
did.
clothes.
Well, and then
Wet
that was the
t-shirt,
thing.
dress comp.
So we have a tiny little elevator in our townhome, and it's seriously a box. It's meant to like get groceries and stuff up and down and like
that's
move
what-
furniture.
It's
Anyway,
like, I have an elevator, but it's small, It's like
Whatever.
I have a Jaguar, but it's just a car.
so there I was naked with my soaking wet.
I have a boat,
dress.
but it's just a small one.
Whatever. I feel like it sounds so terrible. The elevator in our home. But anyway,
We're in Florida.
I'm standing in the elevator with my
We have
sock.
to get the old people up.
Let me fit. Oh my gosh. It is a lot of stairs for them.
Yeah,
It is a
it
lot of
could be.
stairs.
Yeah.
You've ruined my story now, but I was
No,
gonna
keep going.
I was gonna get in the elevator, and then I thought that nothing would be worse in this day because I had left everything downstairs to go in a minute,
Including your phone.
including my phone, and I was like, nothing would be worse unless I actually get stuck in the elevator
Yeah.
naked, holding a sopping wet dress because the power goes
And there's
out.
a built-in phone into the elevator, but it's not connected to anything. Like it exists. Like you can push those buttons and dial for help
guess
and
it's
911.
better.
You ain't gonna get anybody.
Like it would have been hours later until you came home to find me, and I would have just been sitting there. The poor nail guy would have been like, "She's dead."
First of all, I never get in the elevator without a phone. And
Well,
first of all,
I came out and I got my
We actually
phone.
do not ride the elevator because we use it for
No, we
luggage
typically don't.
and
But I was
furniture,
soaking
and
wet.
You were
I did
soaking
not
wet.
want to walk all over. Anyway, it didn't matter.
That's hilarious.
So that was insane, and so now I need new coffee cups.
Yeah, she added it to her Christmas list.
No, my birthday list.
Or your
My birthday's this summer, and it continues to grow because I lost my job. Normally, I didn't lose my job. I quit my job. I left my job.
Your job.
They wanted me to stay. Just boasting.
Keep telling yourself that.
I will.
You're like, thank God she quit. No.
But no, I am currently not getting an income. And so instead of just buying things that I want, I'm waiting, to either get them gifted. But so far, coffee cups are on there, a new hairbrush. My straightener broke the other day. I'm like,
and these are things that typically, I will say that typically when we need something, we typically get it.
Very fortunate.
And that's the great thing about budget banking. I mean, we probably should talk about some budgeting. So like
this was me budgeting. I gave up on saving on nails. I'm transitioning. I need new coffee cups, and I'm now not buying anything I need or want, and I'm putting it on my birthday list.
Cup. Now she's sitting there going, "Can I make it 35 days?"
Yeah, I gotta wait till August
with these two glass cups because we do.
If anybody's listening, you just let us know. I will share my birthday list with you. We can get things.
It's actually good though because typically it is hard to buy for each other. Now there's a list. It's gone from like one item to like 50 items.
There's cookbooks
potential.
on there.
There's things
mascara.
That you just haven't bought.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm not even wearing mascara right now.
And actually, what's really good is that I can give some of those items to your parents now versus giving them like the really
no.
Good
They're
ideas.
on the list. Would you like me to take them off?
Yeah.
Chris gets upset because
they buy everything on the list if you give it to them.
Well,
they're amazing.
He's given my parents ideas before, and they've bought them, and I get so excited. My mom's like, I feel so bad. Chris actually told us you wanted that, and you seemed more excited about those.
The worst thing is when you open up something and it's an idea that I gave, and then you're just like, I think there was a towel year
where
you wanted these sand clouds, and I had already bought. Here's the thing, I had already bought them,
but you got me so much
and
stuff.
I had them, and I had like 2 or 3 things, and your parents were like, "Hey, what could we get her?" And I was like, "Oh, hey, well, if you want, you could reimburse me for these sand clouds. I know she really wanted them." And then when you unbox it and you're like, oh my God, you're like literally petting your face with the sand clouds. I'm like, I'm just so excited I got these. And I'm sitting there thinking, and I had gotten you out something else that was just equally as amazing, but not as amazing as the sand clouds.
I know. I was so excited about them.
And your mom, I remember her, I can remember like it was yesterday. She gave me a look and she was like, I'm sorry. Like it was like the I'm sorry I look.
I know.
Like you had gotten those, and she really loves them. But thank you.
I think she actually sent you a thank you card in the mail.
I feel like she
that
did.
Was like, thank
That's
you for
so much like her. So she definitely did. She
sounds like the most caring person in the world. But
so we're gonna buy some more glasses.
We're gonna need all kinds of stuff, and we're continuing to budget even more because we're going. This week for the 4th of July, there's going to be like 10 adults, a couple of adult children, and
a lot of college kids.
Yeah, and so lots of food, and we're planning on like making ribs and making all kinds of stuff. And I mean, you can still cook and barbecue on a budget. It's still expensive to feed that many people, and so this.
But I've been on like a huge Facebook Marketplace kick, like selling big ticket items that I don't need anymore.
So are you buying groceries?
I might be making a small contribution to groceries. So yeah. Yeah. Well, I sold the red plastics from the other thing. We sold some air conditioners. We sold some.
There you go.
Yeah. I sold buckets. I sold 20.
Oh, yeah. Poor Maria. We left the office the other day.
I feel so bad because I meant to tell her this. And, we manufacture
Maria's
steak
like the
seasoning.
office mom. If we're not there, it's like, Maria.
Yeah. And we had all these salt buckets. And I had like 25 salt buckets. And I was like, you know what? These are worth something. And so I put them on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah. And it was like $20 for 25 buckets. And this lady messaged, she's like, oh, these would be perfect for my garden and everything else. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't really care, but come and get them. like that's what everyone thinks. Like when you're getting messages from strangers, you're like, yeah, this is great. It benefits you.
It's not
you
like
have cash.
It's not a house. It's not like you're like writing the letter to be like, I'm going to make this house everything you've always wanted it to be. She's like, I will use these buckets and make sure that they are fulfilling.
They are fulfilled. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. You have $20.
Your dreams of my buckets.
So I put them up in the front room, and I have every intention of telling Maria because we're leaving early for an appointment or something, and then I get a call and it's like, there's a lady here.
She's like, she's talking about buckets.
We have buckets. Are we in the bucket selling business now?
I know.
You're like, thank you so much. She's here in the studio. So.
You were like, all the buckets for $20. She's like, all of them.
That's a lot of buckets for $20. It's like $1 a bucket.
Yeah, I guess. Is
Plus
that the
people have to drive.
going rate for buckets these days?
I don't know. The buckets cost $27.
I know. Well, I'm glad you're
When they're
making
filled with
money.
salt.
You failed to tell me that while we've literally had leftover spaghetti every night for dinner this week.
Well, look.
I mean,
Okay, so I can't remember what happened, but one is
see,
we
what
have
happened
really
was-
severely changed our
The food budget's been the biggest
food
thing for us.
budget.
Just the lifestyle change.
Everything in
for
our
sure.
life when we redid our budgets has stayed pretty constant. Like, hey, we already lived within our means before. So now we have to do things like not buy glasses right away. We have to put them on birthday lists and stuff. But
I just
the
need to stop
food
breaking
budget,
shit.
you need to stop breaking stuff.
You need to stop losing stuff and breaking mechanical
That's a whole
things.
nother conversation.
My broken pieces are like $5 to $10.
I know. When I break stuff, I break big stuff. $5,000 engine. Thank you.
But yes, so you were talking about the spaghetti.
So,
I think.
we're kind of doing that. And I can't remember what it was, but this weekend, it was like one of those things where like I was like, I really would like to have spaghetti. And then we saw like a commercial with spaghetti, a movie with spaghetti.
It kept coming up.
We watched that movie, The Flash, and he was eating spaghetti. And I was like, I really want spaghetti.
Oh, yeah.
And so then it was like, okay, we're going to make spaghetti. Then we're in the store. And this is so us, right? So it's like, I want angel hair noodles, and you want some Garadelli, Budelli,
No, I do love
Pastaludi,
pappardelle.
And so it's like, that's fine. We'll,
Or like a
and
linguine.
then she's also like, you know what? Because she's an amazing cook.
Bucatini.
She's like, look, we're going to take tomatoes. We're going to chop these. We're going to roast them. We're going to bake them. We're going to mush them with our hands. We're going to pour love into it. We're going to make a spaghetti sauce like Grandma used to make. And I'm
I
like,
wanted to get-
Trust me, Grandma used a can. So
No, I wanted to get onions and celery and carrots to get a little
Make a
sofrito going, get some flavor in there, a little bit of white wine and some tomato paste. Like I wanted to make a really good bolognese with some.
And it was like a rainy Sunday. And I was like, I don't want to actually cook. I want to watch a movie.
And you didn't have to cook.
I know, but when you're cooking, then I want to hang out with you.
He was so worried the sauce wasn't going to be enough or whatever. And so then he's like, well, I'm going to buy the jar sauce just in case. He was
Right, I
like,
was gonna get 2
fine,
jars.
you make what you need to make, but then I'm going to make my sauce. I'm going to have my own. So then it was like, so we're going to buy 2 pounds of pasta and we're going to make 2 separate. I was like, no, this is silly. And there we are
Because
trying
like
to
2 different
budget.
ways. So then we
By
make a
the end of it-
compromise. We make a compromise.
It was not a compromise.
So we went from my angel hair and your
Bullshit.
paparazzi.
We got thin spaghetti,
to-
which practically
to thin
is angel hair.
which
And
is not even close
You
to
bought a
angel hair.
jar.
And then I bought a giant jar of
Whatever.
really good
I
stuff.
waved. I waved the white flag. I surrendered, and you just
surrendered.
Made, but
We
you
ended up
made
making
dinner.
it. And I made dinner.
You ended up making. You got
So my
sausage and
favorite
stuff.
part about spaghetti is then taking the bowl of spaghetti and putting it into a big pan and then letting that get in the fridge.
You're like a square Tupperware,
and then almost
like,
making like spaghetti lasagna at that point. Right?
No, he
like
just likes like
squares.
cutting out a square that.
I just like cutting squares of spaghetti out.
Which I'm Italian. Like I don't even want. He wanted to break the noodles in half before he put them in the pot, and I was like, "Don't you dare!"
I know. I just love broken noodles.
No,
It's like,
broken things.
that's a good book title. Broken noodles.
I know.
But anyway, so we got that. We made spaghetti. And so we've actually had spaghetti the last 3 nights.
Well, we've continued. Both nights we were like, should we just go out to eat? Okay, and here's the thing, guys. He makes this spaghetti, and the first night you had many bowls, but sure, they were small. And then
I'm a grown boy.
I know. And then the next night, there was like the tiniest little bit left. And I was like, well, it's kind of your fault. You had so much spaghetti last night. Now we've just got a little bit left. And so I was like, let's split it in half. Then you brought me my bowl. And I was like, there's no way this was half. And you were like, it's a third. I'm like, what?
I'm bigger than you. I need more spaghetti.
So I starved.
Okay, you didn't starve. Here's what I knew would happen is if we went 50-50, you would end up passing your bowl of half-eaten spaghetti to me. Okay, so I saved a step.
Whatever.
And then
We're budgeting though. We didn't end up
I
going
got
out.
full, so we were like, okay, we don't need to go out like at all. And we ended up not going out at all.
That's
And
true.
so
If
we
you were
saved.
hungry, we would have gone out because when you're hungry.
Right. And then we would have had a drink out, and then that would have been $15. I probably saved us probably like $45.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, that's what I do. I mean, speaking of food and saving, you know,
Oh my
and being on a
gosh.
budget, you know, with 4th of July coming up, we're going to do, I think we're doing ribs this year.
Yeah, we said we're doing ribs. So we always, if for anybody wondering, we always get our ribs from Costco because
Yes, the membranes
the
already-
backstrap membrane's already pulled off.
Yeah, they're already pulled off.
which is
and so
amazing.
they are in really good shape.
And they're super affordable. But it's funny because I think we have the best of all worlds. We actually don't have a Costco or a Sam's Club membership ourselves. And for anybody who does, you know, you go and it's like you can't leave a Sam's Club or a Costco for under, I want to say like $300 to $500. Like
No
there's
way.
just
I don't go.
Well, that's because we don't have a membership. Of course you don't go.
go.
But I was going to say that's the best of all worlds because there's a few items we know we like. And if my parents go, who do have a membership, we'll be like, hey, can you grab us a few things? If I walk into a Sam's or a Costco, like I'm walking out with like a new outdoor furniture set. Like I don't even know why. I didn't need it. I've got a float that's the size of my house.
And that's why we're not ever going to a Costco or a...
I have a cousin. He buys like his entire wardrobe there. He's obsessed. He loves it.
I feel like if we visit them, like it would be like, hey, let's go on an adventure. We're going to Costco.
Well, have you seen
and he'd be
that?
like, book 4 hours.
No, what we need to do is, have you seen that like video where she, I think it's this guy is telling his wife or vice versa. He's like, we're going to a VIP club. We're celebrating your birthday. And it's like 20 people are in Costco and like it's like a birthday cake or whatever. And
that's hilarious.
I know. It is pretty funny. But honestly, those places, I mean, are there good things? Yes. And trust me, like for paper products and stuff, it's like, that's great. You go get them in bulk and you save. But I feel like 90% of the time people are like shopping there and all they needed was maybe, I don't know why I'm thinking cupcakes because we've gone to parties before where people get their cupcakes from Costco. But there are these cupcakes that are like the size of your face. And they're like, yeah, we need 40 of those. And you're like, really? You needed like...
Well, that's the thing is that there's the illusion of savings, right? So it's like...
you're buying these huge
things.
things.
You walked out with a bunch of stuff that you probably didn't need. And because you now own it, you are going to consume something that you probably wouldn't have consumed.
You didn't need.
Versus we're actually the other... You open up our fridge and there's like... It looks like... It's like... I like to
my girlfriend called me a serial killer.
It's serial killer. It's like all the cans are lined up and there's like no food and it's like like a thing of broccoli and a wrapped onion.
No, I hate when there's broccoli in our fridge.
But what I'm saying is like there's hardly any food because we cook each night.
I buy groceries. Yeah, I have an issue with frozen food. It's a problem. I know it's normal to eat frozen food. I know most restaurants and places that you buy the meat from have it frozen first. Like I'm completely fine with that. But like freezers at home and the way people package stuff up and like put it in their freezer and think it's okay to serve, I don't know. It just freaks me out.
It's just frozen E. coli.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's safe.
It's totally fine.
Until you thaw it.
But anyway, no, I like to buy fresh and cook. And here's the thing. I used to be a really diligent meal planner where I would buy on a Sunday and have meals throughout the entire week, both lunches and dinners. And I'm still okay with that technique. But I think life gets so crazy in our social life. Oftentimes things pop up. And so I found that if we buy the groceries in advance, a lot of things go to waste or it's just or you're trying to like scramble to use groceries at the end of the week or you plan on making something a day because something came up and you ended up then going out, but you also already spent the money on the groceries. So I'd rather just see how things play out.
What's so crazy is like when I first met you, you were like leftovers. I'd rather
die.
I'd rather starve.
I'm not
in
a big
desert.
leftover person. There's
never
a few
been a leftover
leftovers.
person.
Like
but
okay,
now the
beef
spaghetti,
stew.
This spaghetti has
the
lasted
most
more
leftovers
days
I've ever eaten
than I've ever seen you eat, and happily.
Because I'm poor.
I know. That's the thing. It's like it's totally changed your look on it. It's like spaghetti. What was it
Blessed
that you said?
to be alive. And
we like
food.
ate something. I was like, I'm gonna just do an extra dish of like ramen. It's kind of like Oriental spaghetti.
I'm not a ramen fan. Not the ramens you get, but
I get some really good.
Yeah, no, I'm not a leftover person. I will say my dad makes chili and that's the only thing I'll ever take. But every time we're leaving my parents' house, we do like a dinner party or something. They're like, oh, do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want this? And Chris is always like, yep, I'll have it. And I always used to say no. And now my parents don't even ask me anymore. They just ask Chris. And then there's like leftovers in our fridge.
I'm appreciative.
It's nothing to do with being appreciative. Are we going to eat it or not?
Well, what happens is that I say yes.
I know I'm going to eat the chili.
And then you eat my stuff.
Well, I wish it wasn't in the house. Maybe I don't want to eat it.
At least we know where it came from. Your mom's a good cook. So,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Or really your dad, actually.
He makes chili. We love the chili. They're both good cooks.
We got him very good cooks. Some seasoning kits and stuff like that. He's experimented with different flavors.
He's done all of it. He has like every different kind of chili.
What would be really fun is we should ask them to be a guest one time.
On the podcast?
We talk about them all the time.
I know. I feel like people are besties with my parents now too.
They know who they are. We should actually bring them in and one at a time.
One at a time.
Yeah. Isolate them.
That actually, their dynamic together would be even better on the podcast.
Yeah, probably. They would laugh. It would probably be our biggest belly laugh episode, having them on. We'll have to figure out how to do that. So
I know.
They're probably going to...
we do. We need to bring in a lot of different guests. I know we had...
if you'd like to be a guest with us, please reach out.
And we've got some people, too, that can virtually call in. We can use our software and tap in.
Yeah, tap in and bring them
Use
in.
a headset.
It'd be pretty fun.
I know. It'd be awesome. But we hope that everybody has an amazing 4th of July. And be safe out there. Oh, what's your saying?
Yeah, I have when I was in the Army, and we would get all the troops together and we would go for a long weekend. I would give a little speech because I was an officer in the Army and in charge of, a handful of people or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we'd line everyone up and I'd be like, all right, I got to give the safety briefing. I'm probably going to butcher it because I didn't know you were going to ask me this. But I would be like, all right, have a great weekend. I'd be like, I guess I can't even remember.
You can't think of it. Well, it's terrible. You're like, don't add to the population.
Don't add to the
Don't
population.
take from the population.
Don't take away from the population.
And if you
find yourself in jail, establish dominance quickly. So that was my safety briefing on the weekend.
I'm amazed it came to me because I was just thinking don't get knocked up.
don't kill somebody. But it's the nice way to say that.
Yeah.
Here, I'll repeat it. Take 2, right? Ask me again.
What's your saying for people to be safe this holiday weekend?
So for this holiday weekend, remember, don't add to the population, don't take away from the population, and if you find yourself in jail, establish dominance quickly. That was way better. I wish you would tee me up. That should have been on the list of things.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think about it until we were just leaving.
No, that's pretty funny. We had everyone used to laugh and we would have a good time. And I even said that in the corporate setting a handful of times as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it was good advice. It is good advice for any week.
It's good advice for any weekend. Please, let's promote this short. We'll go ahead and create that and get it out to as many people as possible.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you next week.
Have a great 4th of July. We'll see you next week.